Franchise Secrets, Erik Von Horn.
Hey, Franchise Secrets. In this episode, I have my friend Adam Lyons on, and we this is a wild, fun conversation. Adam's done so many different things, and it got off track right away as we started talking about Chat GPT. Most people are using AI the wrong way. How he did it to this consultant that wanted to charge him 4x to do the same thing in his business. He's like, thanks, but no thanks. You're out of here. And then he put some stuff into Chat GPT that kicked out some information that he trained his people on that used to go to the consultant for this, that blew them away. We talked about price increases because I used that scenario of that consultant asking him to 4x the amount that he was paying him. And I flipped it on Adam, like, how would you tell him to get a raise from you? And we went into that. So that was a lot of fun. KPI, how do you roll out a KPI? How do you roll out KPIs into a company that is not really driven by KPI? So how do you develop a culture of KPI driven teams? We got into some of his top takeaways from the mentors that he had, like Roland Frazier, Ryan Stewman, Ryan Dice, Perry Belcher. We got into that, and then we dove into building relationships, building them the right way and building them the wrong way. Finally, I ended it with, when do you stop chasing money? When is enough enough? And he's making millions a year. I do the same. Like, when is enough enough? When he and I are both surrounded by people that make a lot more than us, and they're going to continue to make a lot more than us, how do you say enough is enough? And he had tears in his eyes when he gave his answer. I hope you enjoy this episode with Adam Lyons. Adam, good to see you again. Last time was in Austin when you spoke to the Mastermind of Tribe of Investors.
Dude, it was awesome and so good to see you again. How are you?
Doing great. I've been on your podcast before. What's the name of your podcast?
So it's Smart Businesses Do This, which is all about the cool things that a smart business should do versus not smart.
Don't be a dumb business.
Right.
Why'd you start that podcast?
I started it because I recognized that a lot of business owners were what I call accidental entrepreneurs. They had no idea what they were doing and they just fell into it. And now they're kind of like trying to muddle their way through. They get a lot of imposter syndrome because they feel that they should know more and people think they know more, but they're still struggling. I mean, like, I was working with a client 2 days ago, just doing 68 million a year and completely confused about what they're doing and what's going on. And so the whole idea was, the way I go about business is really streamlined, really predictable, applicable, easy. I lecture at the University of Texas in Austin to the MBA program on business stuff. Like, I'm really good at it. And I wanted to create a podcast that would help other people turn their business into a smart business.
Let's, we're going to talk business strategy. I know that you're doing a lot with different businesses, companies that are not doing well. Maybe they flatlined. Maybe they're just, they're not in the trajectory where they want to go. So I think it'd be fun to talk about business strategy in general. And then with that, this is going to be a non-franchise kind of a conversation because you don't really work with franchises. I mean, you might, I'm sure you've run across them. You probably have equity in something. You're probably consulting with some that I don't know about. But in general, I would say the majority of your business experience is outside of franchising. And I want to bring more people like you onto the podcast to give perspective outside of franchising, because a lot of franchisees and franchisors probably need it. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, it's 100% accurate, right? Like, I've definitely got like some franchise consulting clients. I got a really big one actually, but it doesn't matter because I don't go in and give them franchise advice. I give them business advice that just so happens to be able to apply to any business, including a franchise business. I'll give you an example of something that happened 3 days ago. 3 days ago,
I prefer something a little bit more current. Everything is in the last 24 hours, not within the last week. No, I'm kidding, man. 3 days ago. This is good. You're always bringing current stuff. So yeah, give me that example.
Yeah, because I actually do this. So 3 days ago, we hire a consultant. So we have a mastermind, and in our mastermind, we hire consultants that do different things. So you don't just attend the mastermind. First of all, our mastermind is weekly. And in addition to the weekly stuff that we do, which is virtual, we have an in-person thing once a month. And then we have these consultants we bring in who are experts in different areas of business. So this one consultant contacted me and said, I need to 4x my fee to you. Their fee. They wanted to charge me 4 times as much for what they do. And they had a very good argument for why they should do this. And I love the person. I think they're great. And I said, thank you for bringing this to our attention. I fully understand that you want 4 times as much. And I think at this point, it's probably best we just part ways. And so to make sure that I am fulfilling your thing of 24 hours. So 1 hour and 15 minutes ago, I had to inform my mastermind that this consultant that they all love is going away. And as a smart business, I had prepared what I was going to do, obviously. Now, I think many people watching this would think, well, you'd hire somebody else. I think some other people might think you would maybe train somebody up to do it. Instead, I spent yesterday training AI to do the job of this consultant. And then I took all the prompts and all the training that I did in AI, and I showed my clients today how to train their AI to be able to answer exactly like the consultant would have. We've all said that one day the robots are coming for our jobs. Today, a consultant I have worked with for 2 years actually saw what happens when they try to negotiate a higher fee in a time period when AI can take over their job.
I want to dig deeper into that inside the mastermind, my mastermind. I actually had all 3 of my masterminds, the investor mastermind, the tribe of investors, the franchisor mastermind, and the franchisee mastermind. I had Jeff Hunter on. I think you know who Jeff Hunter is. He helped our buddy Linnell, and I'm sure you know Jeff anyway. Came in and did a training on AI personas, and it was really, really good. So before that training, I would have just thought, oh, you just had AI do something. What I'm guessing is tell me if I'm wrong, which I am often. You trained AI on this consultant, like you made this consultant's persona in ChatGPT, so that way it would kick back their kind of voice, their advice. Tell me where I'm on or off or what you did.
A little bit off. I actually inputted all of the information that consultant has from the person they learnt it from.
Okay, so you just took it one step. You went one upstream a little bit to who they learned it from. Maybe that's Jay Abraham. Maybe that is.
Well, that's exactly it. Because I was like, well, I don't want a version of this person because I'm hiring this person because I could afford them. It made financial sense. When it made not financial sense, if I'm going to replace them with an AI, I may as well replace them with the best version of the AI I can get. I don't need them and their flaws. I'll take the original, the person that invented it, and that's what I did.
So let's get a little bit, let's get specific with this. I mean, this is not where we were going to go, but I think this AI is, I love AI. I love people that use it the right way. So when you did that, did you go and find trainings that they did? Do you have articles that they've written? What were some of the specifics that you inputted into ChatGPT to be able to do that?
So the first thing I did is I went into ChatGPT and said, are you aware of the following book? And it says, yes. I was like, can you please summarize the book for me? It says, yes. I was like, okay, I need you to remember that framework as we continue on the conversation. It says, okay. Do you know this book? Yes. Are you aware of the inside of the book? Can you summarize it? Yes. I want you to add the information from this book and keep it in mind throughout the rest of this chat. Okay, no problem. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about my company. Say yes if you understand. Yes. This is my company. This is what we do. Boom, 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 boom. This is who we help. Boom, 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 boom. Some of the clients I have in this company have questions relating to these subjects that these 2 books hold the answers to, would you be able to give suggestions for these companies on what to do based on the information within the 2 books and nothing else? Absolutely. Excellent. With that being said, this company has a problem. It's trying to do XYZ, and it really could do with some help on what to do next. What would your recommendation be as per the 2 books and the information within them?
Did you do this as a training for them? Everything that you did, everything that you just told me, did you do this as a training for them? So you're teaching them something really valuable while giving them the output that's very valuable.
Yep. And so they can do it themselves. So they now have a fully trained AI inside each of their companies that give them the answers. But here's the thing. The reason I feel ethically comfortable doing this is one of my companies, we already recognized that the money we were getting, AI was better at doing it. So we had a choice to receive the money continually and just replace the work with AI, or what we did was a completely free training to everybody that follows us on how to teach the AI to do the job that we charge for. And then we basically said to them, you no longer need to pay us to do this. The AI is better. And we did that training last Saturday. So I'm not doing anything I'm not saying anything I'm not doing myself. I've already given it away for free from my own company. It's now a free gift, and that free gift has become a lead generation tool for things AI can't replace in our company.
That's exactly it. And I think, and that's why I did that. I wanted to learn the AI, and I paid for it. I paid someone to come in, teach this, and I said, I want to be able to teach this mastermind, and I want to be able to give this away to others. And so people just got to be thinking differently. That's when you talk about business strategy, you've got to lead with value and give stuff away. You and I are both really good at giving stuff away. My company, Front Street Equity Partners, where we do strategic advisory for franchisors, emerging brands, very new brands, or brands that have 50 to 100 units. We give tens of thousands of dollars away of free consulting advice as we are seeing if they're a good fit for us or not. They don't even realize it. And I was talking to my business partner, Jeff Herr, the other day. He's like, Erik, we always lead with value. We always give value. So let's talk about that. In business strategy, giving value and not trying to get a little bit of coin in our pockets along the way. We're playing a bigger game, and not everyone does that. So any comments around that?
Yeah, so a good example is this. When I worked out that there's a piece of our company that the AI can do better, it was a no-brainer to absolutely do that. So in fact, if anybody wants to see an example, because it's actually pretty detailed what we did, you can go to the smartblueprint.com/gift. Now we built this URL, and what happens is now on our social media and our email, we offer free trainings and free gifts. So one of them is time management, right? You don't need me to do your time management anymore. The AI can outline how to do it, right? Pretty simple way to do it. So you go to the smartblueprint.com/gift, but there are other free trainings. We have one on how to get AI to write a book, something else we used to charge money for. There's no point. The AI can do it. You don't need my help to do it. So now when you go to that link, it will say, which of these 2 gifts do you want? What we're now doing is thinking over the next year, what things can we give away that we used to charge money for that AI can do? And these now are lead magnets that people can go to the URL and download and get for free and use. And then we ask them where we can send it. And then we do a little bit of market research. Now, this is the key. That market research isn't just market research. It's a scoring system that we develop. Now, this is something AI can't do yet that we've developed. Well, kind of with AI, I suppose, if you think about it. But we calculated the likelihood of someone buying based on the answers to the questions they make. If a certain score is achieved, each question, depending on how they answer it, they get a different point. It actually notifies us via our CRM the likelihood they are to buy. And we know that 1 in every 5 people that scores high, it's 25 points or higher on our system, will buy. So now every 5 PDFs or downloads or sheets or whatever it is they get is a buyer.
So they download 5 things. They are likely a buyer.
Yeah. Oh, no, incorrect. Of every 5 people that download something, 1 of them is a buyer.
Every 5 people that download something. Now, is it S.M.A.R.T Blueprint or S.M.A.R.T Blueprints?
So it's thesmartblueprint.com/gift.
The Smart /free gift.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure we get the right one out there, man.
Oh, I appreciate you.
Yeah. So with this, is that going to be a list of free things that they can download, or is it one free thing based off of
So they'll get a drop down where they choose their gift. And as the weeks go by, those gifts will increase. There'll be more gifts available as we find other things that AI can replace in our company. And so these gifts, they're not specifically said they're AI, but we're using AI to produce them quickly.
what is AI not doing right now that people might think AI is replacing this, or what are some misconceptions with AI?
So I think the biggest one is that AI is information and cognitive thinking, but it's not application. Like AI is not going to change your roof, right? It's not going to fix your plumbing. So there's a lot, and this is why, I still have work. AI is not going to talk to all your staff members and find out which one's crap.
How are most people using AI wrong?
Most people are using it wrong because they're not training it before getting it to output a question.
I've seen the same thing. That's what my answer would be. A lot of people out there are talking about prompts versus personas. Is that I'm sure you need a little bit of both.
Yeah, I don't really care about the persona as much. I like guiding its knowledge base and telling it to operate within certain criteria. I think of it this way, right? When you go to an art project, if someone says, create art, it's like, wow, that's hard. If I say to you, create a painting using only warm colors, okay, now we have something we can work with. I find that AI is the same way. If you just say to the AI, write me a marketing script, it's going to be terrible. If you say to the AI, summarize these 3 books on marketing, now using the principles in those books for an avatar that matches X in this region, what is a good marketing plan to follow? Now you're going to get some really good quality content.
So now you get good quality information. It's just information at this point. And a lot of consultants just give information. So if you were to have that real consultant in front of the group of people giving their input, where does AI fall short, or maybe where are they better in that? Like, you've taught them something to go fish for themselves, to go get information, your members. You've taught them to go get it. That's amazing. But where does a consultant, that consultant or a better consultant really fit in to take it to the next level?
GPS. Once upon a time, if I said to you, come to my house, I would give you the address, and then I would give you the directions on how to get there. I'm old enough to remember doing that. When MapQuest came out, we didn't have the internet with us. We would print out the directions and follow them. But we no longer trusted you telling me, the internet could tell me, but I always knew that there was a chance that the MapQuest directions would be wrong, but your directions would be right, because you're a human, and but the MapQuest might be wrong. Now with GPS, Waze, and all these other apps, we kind of blindly follow them, but not exactly. But if you read the news, there are definitely reports of people turning left and driving into swimming pools and doing crazy stuff like that. They're the people that are blindly following the AI. The smart people, they're learning from it, but still not giving up their own thought patterns. AI is the same. AI is a tool to speed up and make everything easier. Like, for example, the consultant that I was using, they really shouldn't have tried to increase their fee. They should have said, I'd like to lock in my fee for life, and I'm going to be using AI to help me deliver even more to your clients.
Their workload goes down, their pay stays the same, and it's locked into a long-term.
And my clients get a better result. Now, this is solid, and they just locked in a fee for life. Instead, and this is really tough to say, but this is the reality. They have lost me as a client. They'll never get me back. But what they don't know is I consult for 3 other companies they work with. And I'm not on a vendetta to go against them, but those companies were going to, or are working with that consultant because of me. at some point, I'm going to talk to my clients and tell them what I've implemented. And my clients are going to say, is she going to increase our fee? Should we do this? And I'm going to say, you should do what you feel like, but you should know that this is working really well.
Well, let's talk about fee increases, price increases, because everybody deals with that. Was there a point if they would have come to you and said, hey, I'm increasing my fee, 50% or 20%? Is there a way that you would have accepted some level of price increase from this consultant?
Not really. And I'll explain why. I think as a consultant, it's not our job to increase our.
Let me reframe that a little bit based on you saying not really. If you were advising them to go to their client asking for a price increase, what would you have advised them?
Great question. I would say, and this is how I always do a price increase, there is an extra service I'd like to offer. I can't offer it for the fee you're currently paying. Are you open to a discussion about adding this extra thing and looking at what that would cost?
What would your response have been to that statement from that consultant?
If they had said that to me, I would have said, I'd love to hear what else you're adding, how that's going to benefit my clients. This sounds great. And if that fee was 50% of what I'm currently paying them, I'd have probably taken it. Right? So they would have got a 50% pay increase. They'd have had to do some extra work, but they could use AI to offset it, which probably would have decreased their work. I'd be happy. They'd be getting paid more. Everyone would be happy.
This is the power of asking the right question in the right way. Because when I first asked you that question, you're like, no way. There's no way. I wouldn't have gotten a 50% increase in price. Then I'm like, okay, smart. Adam was giving them advice. How would you have done it? And then you just did it. But it wasn't just a fee and increase. It was value with it.
Exactly. Because that's how you should do it. As a consultant, the way we ask for money should be, hey, I've got a way to add extra value to you. I'd like to talk about that. I can't do it for the same fee. It'll cost extra, but I'll do you a solid. Now, there are some things, like not as a consultant, as a service, you can increase your fees. But even then, I almost always tell people you should lock in loyal customers to the old price. The benefit.
Say that again.
Yeah. If you want to increase your fee, it's fine, but you should always lock in old customers to an old price. So for example, my Mastermind once upon a time was only 15 grand a year. It's now 40. But there is definitely 1 or 2 people still paying 15 because I locked them in. If they leave and they come back, it'll be 40.
That's what I did too. My Mastermind was 150 for my low. Like you're going to say, Eric, you're stupid low on that. But 150 a month for the Franchise Tribe Mastermind. It's now 200. The Tribe of Investors currently is 20,000. By the time most people listen to this, it's going to be 25,000 because we're increasing it. All the founding members pay the founding price unless they leave.
That's how it works. And that's how most people should do things. Like, in my opinion, there are some businesses where that can't work, but most businesses should operate on that model as far as I'm concerned. Because you reward loyalty and early adopters.
And that's the reason why. And that should be like, you should always be asking why things are done. That's the follow-up question to that statement. Okay, we lock them in. Okay, great. Now that a robot would be like, okay, we always lock them in, but you need to know why we lock them in, because that's the value that you tell to your current members or whatever whoever your customer is. It might be a leasing customer like at Sola Salons. They were locked into a lower price and they had price increases, but they never went up to the price of what we're currently leasing them at. So you lock the old customers into the old price, and you need to know why you do that. So that's building value.
You got it. Absolutely.
Attention, franchisors and franchisees. There are 2 really important resources that I want to share with you that will help you avoid costly mistakes and increase your enterprise value. The first is our free Facebook group. It's a community that has over 4,000 franchisees and franchisors in it. When somebody asks a question, they get honest and authentic answers from multiple perspectives. You can join the group for free over at franchisesecrets.com/Facebook. The second resource I want to share with you is if you're a franchisor and you're frustrated that you're not awarding as many franchises as you thought you would, this is the reason I created the Franchisor Mastermind. If you want access to the information, the techniques that the best franchise sales organizations are using to award franchises, and you want what mature brands have with their playbook of having happy, successful franchisees that grow the right way, then you might want to check out the Franchisor Mastermind. The reason why people join is they want access to my Rolodex, my connections. They want the playbook to achieve both short-term and long-term success. They want to increase enterprise value in their brand. Links will be in the show notes or at scalablefranchise.com. Business strategy, predictions, solutions. You're really good at predictions. You're really good at solutions. So kind of following the prediction solution model along business strategy, give me some examples of how you do that.
Yeah, so I just became vice president of a new company, which I really enjoy. And, we were talking about this just beforehand. The vice president position I've negotiated myself is a six-figure salary that is huge six-figure salary. It comes with, I can work any hours I want, no fixed time. The office is in a different city than the one I live in. I get free travel to that office via private jet whenever I want to go in. And I got my own office. And that's the job. It's pretty cool. I have to run a morning meeting for about 15 minutes, 5 days a week. And that's the commitment beyond that. Plus I get equity in the company that releases after 6 months. So I've got to work there for 6 months and I get equity in the company.
Yeah, that's not very long either.
No, that's not very long. And that's because of the way I went about it, which was October last year, I wrote a report and I said, I've been analyzing.
Hey, go back even further than that to set up the value that you gave.
Yeah, when I first met this company, I actually signed up as a client of theirs. So as a client, I put a lot of time and energy in just being their best client and adding value to them wherever I could. But I also got to see the inside of the company. So from doing this, and I'll do this often, I'll pay to be in a company to look at the inside of it. Like if I pay to join your company, no, I'm probably making a move, right? That's typically how it works. And so, I pay the highest fee. So I paid the most expensive product. I paid for their highest level stuff. I turned up to every event. I mean, I put in the work. And it let me look under the hood of the company, which allowed me to, in October last year, write a report of a prediction of what would happen over the next 5 months. Because I saw a problem coming, because that's what I do. And I gave them the solution. So I wasn't like, if you want to pay for the solution, I just said, this is the solution. Have it. Don't pay me. I love you guys. Have it. And they said, thanks, but no thanks. We won't need this. No problem. It's yours anyway.
Because it was part of the solution. Like you gave them the framework. This is the problem. This is the solution. And if you want my help with the solution, it's X, Y, and Z. If you don't, there's a solution. Go do it yourself. Is that kind of how it was?
Pretty much, yeah. And because I don't like holding somebody over a barrel and being like, pay me or whatever.
But that's part of the solution. Is if you're part of the solution, you offer that, but it didn't change the relationship or anything with them, and they knew that too.
Exactly. That's the whole point, because I don't want to alter the relationship, because if they don't go for it, then I want to keep everything exactly as it is.
So how long ago was that, and then what happened?
That was October last year. About 6 weeks ago, I get a message from the founder of the company. What would it look like for you to come on and help us? Every prediction you made came true. 100%. In addition, your solutions would have stopped. And that was kind of awesome.
Can you give us any insight into any of the predictions and solutions? If you don't want to, I understand, but I had to ask.
I predicted a revenue drop of 1/3 of gross revenue over 5 months, and announced what would stop that. And I was accurate. That happened. So it was a pretty significant drop.
Have you done that before? Have you done a prediction solution thing before?
Yeah. If there's a client I really want to work with, I do it often. That's like my favorite way. And then check this. When they contacted me, a lot of people think that's the time I'm going to sell them. But that's not true. I said, I'm sorry you're in this situation. I feel like I should have done more effort to make you realize that I saw it. So I take responsibility. Like I shouldn't.
Because it is your fault.
Clearly, because I didn't get them to have it, right? I could have stopped this, right? It's my fault. So I said to them, look, I'm going to be in town for a week. This was just by coincidence. It's like the universe working in mysterious ways. So I'm going to be in town for a week. Are you okay with me coming into your office and helping? And they said, what's it going to cost? And I said, nothing. And they went, what? I was like, October was the time to ask you for money. This is not the time to ask for money. This is the time to help. And they went, if you were anyone else, I wouldn't believe you. I would want to know what your angle is. And I said, my angle is helping. And so I actually moved into the office for a week. I ran my office from their office, and I ran their company for a week while running my company to prove I could run their company. And I ran everything. At the end of the week, the founder pulled me to one side and said, how do we let you not leave? And I said, well, my personal take home is about 2.5 million a year. I was like, if you want to match that, I'll put my company on a back burner for a bit, and because that's double pay as far as I'm concerned. My growth won't go up, but and I'll come here. I was like, but I know you can't do that. And if you, the first thing I would do after you hired me at that is tell you to fire me because it's stupid. So I was like, that doesn't work. I was like, but I am open to the following. One of three things. One, hire somebody else to do the job. And I'll advise as a friend. Call me when you need me. Just as a friend, I won't charge. Two, hire me as a consultant. I'll come in once a month for a day. It's 25 grand a pop. And every time I come in, I'll train everyone and do everything. Third option, bring me on as vice president. Let me pick my own hours. Let me work when I want to work. And I will deliver and I'll run everything and you'll love it all. But for that, I'm going to be growing the company and I'm going to want a piece of the pie.
So in your mind, is that the option that you wanted, or do you want the 25K for a day?
Any of these are great. 25 grand a day, what's that, 200 or 300 grand a year to pop in for a day a month? And you remember there's other benefits. This company is right next door to my favorite chocolate shop. That's a factor for me, right? I'm going to go and buy a ton of candy every month, 25 grand for a day of work plus expenses. Great. I'm very happy with that. Anyone that wants to hire me for 25 grand, you call me, I will give you a day of my time for 25 grand and I am a happy camper because I like looking inside companies. It's not just the money for me. What are you doing? I think of getting into a car and ripping out all the inside. Wow, this is so cool. I got paid 25 grand to do it. Put it back in again.
So from strategy, you're thinking as the founder of that business, and then how do you make the most amount of impact in that particular business? And it's probably not you spending a bunch of time in that business. It's the things that you've learned and it's the things that you know. So how do you think about that in your mind, and how's that communicated to the founder, making the most amount of impact in that business or the amount of money that you're being paid and the equity that you're earning?
In a company with 30 employees, I'm not going to fix the company by doing the work of 30 people. I'm going to fix the company by getting 30 people to do their job better. The more I have to help them do their job, the less effective they're going to be at their job. My job is to go through each employee, give them trackable KPIs and systems, and make sure the employee understands why they do it, why it's important, and recognize how their KPIs interact with everyone else's, that the reporting is in place, that there isn't inefficient communication going on, and that everyone does what they're supposed to be doing as part of a giant machine. I outlined to the owner of the company, we will not be moving these KPIs quickly, because if I fix 30 KPIs all at once, it's just going to get messy. We will work with one department, put KPIs in one department, and we'll keep doing it until that department's working. When that department knows what they're doing, even though everything else is falling apart, we will then pick the next department next to that one and fix their KPIs until the two departments work together. Then we'll add the third one. This will mean that things collapse that you don't want to collapse, and you're going to want to come to me and be mad at me because I haven't fixed it yet. I'm not going to fix it. This is a 1-year plan with 4 quarters, and Q1 is just rolling out KPIs in one department. Just one. It's slow and painful.
How do you think about KPIs? What's your mindset? How do you get people to start really caring about KPIs if they have a culture of not?
So really simple. If I say to you, I need you to make dinner tonight, the first part of the KPI is work out what to make. If there is no dinner plan, there won't be dinner. After the dinner plan, did you get the groceries? If you don't have the groceries, there's still no dinner. Then do you have all the tools needed to do it? If you don't have those, there's no dinner. Did you start at the right time? Do you know what you're doing? Do you have a plan to follow? Do you have plates to serve? If you think about it like dinner, it's really easy. Most people just say, I'm going to make dinner. Let's see what we got here. That's not how you run a company. So for me, I look at every little piece. So like, for example, I can tell you in the sales department in this one company, I know that the reach outs are where they need to be, and I know that the gross revenue is half of where it needs to be. So somewhere between the reach outs that are exactly where they need to be and the gross revenue being half, there's a problem. Well, if we go down the line of all the key performance indicators in the sales department, this is how well I know this. I know for a fact that the sales team book half the amount of minimum required calls. It's no coincidence that they book half the number of calls and we get half the revenue they should be getting. They're on average, the average salesperson is doing like 3.1 sales a day or phone calls a day. And I gave them a minimum requirement of 6 and their gross revenue is half. Double the calls, double the sales. But the lead input is correct, everything else is correct, which prompts the question, why the hell are they not booking enough calls? So unlike most companies, I ask them, why are you not booking calls? And they say, they don't want to pressure people. So we need a script. We need a script that doesn't pressure people, that helps them get people onto phone calls. Got it. Now I know what they need. That's the thing we're developing right now.
That's pretty funny, given the fact that I know the company.
Well, that's
all right.
Because they have scripts, but the staff aren't using them.
They have scripts.
They have scripts, but the staff aren't using them.
Because of the challenge that you described.
Because, believe it or not, the staff don't know where they're located. And didn't want to look silly and say they don't know where the scripts are. So again, once you get into it, you start seeing, so what's the real problem? The tech department isn't organized. Why isn't the tech department organized? Because when they save their files, they don't put anything where it's supposed to be. So we have an organization issue in the tech department. But I can't fix that yet because I'm not fixing the tech department yet. I'm fixing the other departments.
So are you rolling out are you changing the current scripts or are you keeping the same scripts?
Keep it, find it, use it, see if it works. If it doesn't work, replace it. If it does, use it. I don't put my ego into it. I don't go in and be like, we're going to use my stuff everywhere. I go, what do you have? You know, it's like if I was going to cook dinner at your house, I wouldn't say, it doesn't matter what you have here. I'm going to buy a load of new stuff. That would be inefficient as well. So instead, what do you have? Let's have a look.
And when you're changing things, whether it's changing things in a business like that, changing some marketing things, changing some scripts, changing for health, if you're taking a new supplement or doing some of these things, you need to you don't do everything at one time because then you don't know what works. And that's the tendency of some of us entrepreneurs. Sometimes we're just like, let's change everything. And you don't know what was broken and what was working and what really fixed the thing that was broken.
100%. And that's the point. Like, as a business owner, and I think as doing what I'm doing, I am incredibly good at going through diligently step by step and being like, where is this breaking? Going through the pipe and seeing the hole and be like, okay, this is the hole. This is what needs fixing. And sometimes it's a cultural problem. Like, so the S.M.A.R.T Blueprint, what we have, it's staffing, which is what we look at first, then marketing, then audience, like how big is your database, social media, mailing list, etc. Then revenue, which is sales and cash, and then testimonials. So the very first thing I did is look at the staff, okay, who's who, and I redesigned the hierarchy. I did that straight away. Then I looked at the marketing. I was like, okay, well, the marketing's kind of good. You guys actually, because like, you know, that company, they're good at that. And then the audience is massive. Great. So now we're on revenue. Oh, sales team not booking enough calls. Okay, got it. That's the next piece to fix.
All right. So you've had a lot of mentors in your life. You've been a mentor to a lot of people. Roland Frazier, mutual friend. I know that you've learned a lot from him. I'm sure he's learned a lot from you. What's the top thing that you learned from Roland?
Number one thing I learned from Roland Frazier is absolutely how to buy businesses. I mean, that's like the number one thing he taught me, and he's incredible at it. But it's not my biggest takeaway. That's the biggest thing he taught me. My biggest takeaway is that Roland is curious, and that's his skill set. And that's the same as me. I don't go into a business to make money. I go into a business to look at it. And that's what Roland has, and that's really powerful. when your goal isn't make money, your goal is learn, it's a better driver.
So what would you share with the audience, the best way to be curious or have a mindset of curiosity?
I think it's to genuinely work out what makes you excited about your customers and clients and use that.
All right. Ryan Stewman, what's the number one thing you learned from him and your takeaway?
The number one thing for Ryan has got to be that Ryan builds communities better than anybody else I've ever seen, by far. And I think that is really impressive. And Ryan is a good example of slow and steady wins the race. Everyone else is changing business models. He's had the same business model. And Ryan actually makes a lot more money than almost any other person I know in the marketing business arena, which is impressive. I know that firsthand. I've spoken to, I've seen it. He makes a lot more. It's a stupid amount of money compared to others. And other people are like touting that they're incredible, but Ryan makes like 3x what they make.
Who else have, off the top of your head, have been impactful or you've had impact with that come to mind, and what are the things that you've learned from them?
Oh my God, so many. I mean, franchise stuff I learned from you. I didn't know anything about franchise until we spoke. So I mean, like I tell everyone like you're number one for franchise, absolutely hands down. And I get to speak to everyone in the industry.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's an absolute fact. Everyone here should know. I think Linnell, like our mutual friend, is the best on fitness I've ever seen, without a doubt. And I've worked with, Six Pack Shortcuts. I was one of the people that discovered Thomas DeLauer. And because he was like a local trainer in Thousand Oaks when I used to live in, and I found him and I put him on the map and said, you got to talk to these guys. Everyone needs to know you. But Linnell's better in my opinion. I think Ryan Dice is really good at systems. I think Ryan's really good at pointing out like very normal things that people think are shocking and it's like natural. Perry Belcher's really good at copy, like ridiculously good at copy, probably the best. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really good people. John Assaraf for vision stuff. I didn't believe in vision things at all until I sat and spoke to John Assaraf and he put me in my place.
What changed your mind with that? Because I think there's a lot of people that struggle with that. I'm, one of them. And I just did a session with Jeff, my business partner at Front Street Equity Partners, where that's important. And that goes into the story, like your story and your goals, vision and mission fit into that. But what was it for you that helped you overcome some of your maybe limiting beliefs around vision and mission?
One phone call with freaking John Assaraf, to be honest with you. He says to me, I was like, I don't believe in vision, that kind of stuff. I'm not into it, And he said, okay, I love that. And he said, have you ever done any acting? I was like, yeah, I used to be an actor at the local theme park. And he goes, when you wanted to remember lines, how did you do it? I was like, what do you mean? He goes, you had to remember your lines. How did you do it? I was like, well, I rehearsed them. He goes, did you imagine yourself saying them? I was like, well, yeah. And he goes, and then afterwards, were you doing what you imagined? I'm like, you know what? I hate that you're right now on this. And he said, until you imagine yourself doing it, it will be very difficult for you to do. So why would you be resistant about imagining yourself doing it if that's one of the steps? What if that was the first step? And I was like, that makes so much logical sense and I hate it. So thank you for putting me in place. And now I vision out everything I'm going to do first.
What are some of the things that you knew that were true and then you realized you were wrong?
So much. Once upon a time, I thought that if you were just good at what you do, that's all that matters. But actually being good at business is all that matters. And it doesn't matter how good you are at what you do. The best combo is you being good at business and what you're selling is the best of what it is. But being the best isn't as good as being good at business.
Networking, building relationships, having people that you can trust, people that will pick up the phone when they see it's you calling. There's certain people that I will pick up the phone if they're calling. I did that yesterday. Someone was calling. I picked up the phone. I pick up the phone when you call. You pick up the phone when I call. You have much more important people than me that will pick up the phone call if they see your name on it.
This actually happened last Sunday. You'll like that. No, last Friday, I FaceTime video called Roland Fraser at 8 p.m. And he picked up on a video while he was hanging out with his wife. There are not many human beings that Roland Fraser will pick up the phone for, especially not a video call. But I knew he would, because I would do the same for him. And I knew that he would want to see what I was doing, because I got invited to a private winery that had a vat of wine that can never be created again, because the grapes and the vineyard where it came from were destroyed in a landslide. So it was a brand new one. So it was the first and last batch of this wine that will ever be made. And they can only make 1,500 bottles ever. And Roland collects exclusive wine. And it's a vineyard in Texas. My buddy owns it. And they decided they weren't going to sell the bottles to really make them, and they were going to give them away. But my buddy is somebody I've consulted for his winery for. And so I said to him, can I have a case? And he went, yeah, sure. So I phoned Roland to let him know that I've got him a bottle of this wine. And he was over the moon. He got to see the vat, and like we poured it. And it's crazy because it's a wine that is like a cognac. It's like a cognac wine. It's crazy. So anyway.
How do you build relationships? Like going into an event, a meeting, a town where there's somebody that you know that 5 years from now you would like to have a relationship with, if they are who you think they are. How do you go about building that relationship?
First of all, the word relationship means relationship. It doesn't mean make a sale. It doesn't mean what do I get. It's just the relationship. So I don't try and connect with people about work, making money, sales. I try and find out what they love. Like, I'm not super into wine, but Roland is. So I connect with Roland on wine. And I try to be as interested in the subject I know they're interested in without making it about work.
Where do most people go wrong with that? Because a lot of people are in this transactional, they build relationships that are transactional. Where do people miss it?
Yeah, I think people are still trying to make money or trying to get money or trying to work out what they can get from somebody, as opposed to how can I connect with somebody. There's a really good movie called What Dreams May Come, Robin Williams. And there's a moment in the movie, I quote this a lot, where the wife has a realization that her husband fell in love with art because she's an artist, not because he loves art. And then she says, he used art as another way to love me. That phrase I love. And I think that when I build a relationship, I think I use the things people care about as another way to connect with them.
Reach a certain level of success. Some people are fine with that. They don't need to go from making $2 to $3 million a year net in the bank. They don't need to go to 10 or 20. They're satisfied with $1, $2, or $3 million, or whatever that number is for them. How do you view that? How do you, because I know life is important to you, like family and whatnot.
I'm the same. I consult, like one of my clients does $440 million a year. And I basically help them outline their entire company, what they do. Two of my other major clients are, 8-figure, 9-figure companies. My own companies are tiny compared to those. But my companies don't require me to be in the office. My companies don't require me to go to work. My companies don't require me to do anything. I don't even have to sign up to a morning meeting, and my companies still, do millions. But if I wanted my companies to be bigger, I would have to work harder, and that means I would help less other companies. But I like going in the other companies. I like looking under the hood of the big company and seeing what they're doing. I like it. And I would rather help them than I would have my own.
If you didn't live in Bastrop, Texas, and you lived in Beverly Hills, would that be more of a challenge for you?
I used to live in LA, so there's a reason I live in Bastrop, Texas, and that's because I didn't like living in LA, even though I always wanted to, because too many people wanted my time. I live in Bastrop, Texas, because I'm hard to connect with. If you want to hang out, you can totally hang out. You have to get to Austin. You have to do a 1-hour drive. You have to come all the way out to my ranch. You have to put up with me probably half ignoring you while I'm hanging out with my kids and playing video games. I went on a trip for 2 weeks. I came home, and the night I came home, my business partner surprised me. So 3 of my business partners, Linnell was there. They were sitting around a table, and they just wanted to welcome me back. I'd been working my butt off. In the middle of the dinner with them, my kid runs out and says, Dad, there's a pirate invasion. I'm like, what? So my kids are all playing this video game on their Switch, and they're being attacked by pirates. And I say, 1 minute, I'll be there. I look at my business partners who have driven an hour to come and see me. I say, guys, I love you all. I'm terribly sorry. It turns out there is a pirate invasion. And unfortunately, I'm needed. So I'm going to have to cut the dinner early. You please feel free to stay and finish your food. I'm going to go in the other room and I won't come back out again. I really appreciate you guys doing this. Good to see you. Ping me during the week if you need anything. I went into my kids' room. All my kids were there and they're all playing on their Switches. And I'm like, all right, guys, pirate invasion. Here's what we do. Jump in the warehouse. You guys stand on the perimeter of the door, block the windows. We're going to hole up here and pull a 300. We start killing the pirates. My 8-year-old looks at me, looks at the other kids and said, see, told you we needed Dad. That I live for. That.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's why we do what we do. I knew your answer was going to be something similar to that because we're very much aligned on what it's like being a dad. We're going to leave it at that, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Franchise Secrets podcast. Links to everything can be found over at franchisesecrets.com. And if you want my help with anything from starting your own franchise to growing your current franchise business, please visit scalablefranchise.com.